Toronto's budget chief and city councillor for Don Valley North, Shelley Carroll, joins us now live here in studio. You've had the job now for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
You've now had a chance to look at the city's finances. We know they're in a bit of a mess. We're in a bit of a billion-dollar hole. What do you, I guess, glean from the meeting yesterday and the response that you got from fellow members of executive committee on how to deal with this issue?
Well, first of all, it was a unanimous vote from executive committee. There were a couple of guest councillors there as well. But by and large, the community came to speak to them and talked about not don't do any of these things, but which of these things are our favorites on the menu. And so that gave councillors really the courage I think they needed to proceed with this process unanimously.
You know, something that I heard from you yesterday that really stood out to me was you said, don't just pick one. I need a this and, because there's not one single solution to address the city's needs. Listen, life's really expensive in this city. What do you say to the residents of Toronto who are now worried they're going to have to pay far more for almost a little bit of everything, parking, sales tax, potentially, if given the okay from the province?
Well, my own preference would be to sit down and have that conversation with the province to say, you know, we could go for all of these little things and it would solve 30% of the problem if we used all the things that currently we have permission to do in the City of Toronto Act. But at the end of the day, what we really need is the tool that all mature cities have. If we could look at any major American city and any European or Asian city, and you'd find sales tax. So with 1 cent on the dollar added to the HST, we could avoid some of those other charges, but more importantly, stabilize property tax. Because property tax isn't based on income, isn't based on wealth, so it's not really a fair tax. Moving to one that is based on your ability to spend really is a more fair tax. So it actually creates affordability, doesn't strip it away.
I know it's early days. Have you had discussions with the Premier about this? Because we know Premier Ford tends to be not in favor of tax and spend. He's more in favor of austerity and looking for savings. So do you think this is something that he would go for? Well,
we haven't had the really concrete conversation yet. I guess I'm having it by having this conversation with you today. But I really like Mayor Chow's strategy. What she's said is we need to move quickly and be able to demonstrate that we're stepping up. We're asking for this by quickly moving to an executive, and then as early as September 6th, Council will be making this decision. So then we walk up the steps of Queen's Park able to say, this is Council's ask, and we're wearing it. We're stepping up and saying, we've taken a good hard look at the future of the City of Toronto, and we know we need this.
What are you in favor of, Councillor Carroll, in terms of, we've got the vacant home tax, we've got the land transfer taxes for homes over $3 million. And when you talk about, I want this and, what are your ands?
Well, for me, vacant home tax serves a number of policy needs, because what we really want is for that home to be up for rent. We need it for housing. And so in a case like that, we're trying to do other things. There are other taxes that are about environmental measures. But fundamentally, to secure the future of the city and make us a mature city like any other city of 3 million, we need that sales tax. That 1 cent, you know, New York City has a municipal sales tax of 4 cents on the dollar. With that extra money, they're able to fund the education system. What we're asking for is that 1 cent, and it allows us to do the things that a property tax really isn't meant to serve. Things like massive transit. We're soon going to be operating brand new lines for the province, Line 5 and Line 6. We can't do that without maturing our fiscal formula and having a whole new way of sustaining the city for the long term.
Quickly, I just want to ask you about property taxes, because it was a contentious issue when Mayor Chow was running in the by-election. How much will she raise property taxes by? Now that, I guess, I'm assuming you've had a chance to sit down and talk to her and look at the numbers and look in the books, is there a number that the two of you have started to come up with that you'll present to Torontonians? Because I think a lot of people are worried. Mortgages have gone up, food's really expensive, and life costs a lot already.
Absolutely. We're not going to avoid a property tax increase, certainly in the 2024 budget, because the tools that we're talking about for the long term, they will take a certain amount of time to go through the process and actually arrive at implementation. So we're not going to avoid a property tax increase. We're going to do our best to be near inflation. But the mayor and myself, We both think that staff should have the opportunity to propose to us the budget we need to propose. But here's the thing. They can propose to us what we need to get through 24 and 25, and we still have that gap that was worsened by the pandemic. And so it'll be an austere budget. But we really want to stabilize. And if we don't get this long-term financial plan through smoothly, then we know the austerity is going to continue year after year after year, and it's going to get quite severe.
Tough times for the city. Councillor Carroll, thanks so much. Budget chief for the city. Appreciate it. September 6th, the next council meeting. We'll talk to you then, I'm sure.